Hello world, Chris again with more nonsense. Today's nonsense is about Israel. I have a big fuck you to say to Israel. But before I do, I want to tell my Muslim audience that this is not a pro-Muslim discussion. As far as the Muslims go, I like you all, say individually, but as a whole, I wish you'd all die bleeding out of your ass. Okay? So, with that said, please don't, cheer me, go, hey, Chris, way to go, you're getting the Israelis, you're getting the Jews. Well, no, I'm not getting the Jews. I'm talking about Israel. I'm not talking about Jews, I'm talking about Israel. So again, don't think that this is a pro-Muslim discussion, because it's not. Again, I hate your fucking guts. So, with that said, let's continue. Since the 1970s, Israel has received $1.75 trillion in free money from the hardworking taxpayers of the United States. What does $1.75 trillion mean? Well, I'll tell you what it looks like in human terms. There is over 300 million Americans, right? If you divided 1.75 trillion by 300 million rather, it means that every citizen in the United States can receive a check for $5,833.33. Okay? That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money that the American taxpayers have been fit and bill, especially when our deficit is over $9 trillion. 1.75 trillion, or almost $2 trillion, can reduce that by almost 20%. So you guys have receiving a lot of money. Now, what have you done with this money? Okay, well, let's say we've given you all this aid, okay, and all this welfare money. And I'm not using the word welfare lightly. I really feel that Israel is a welfare state. Okay, it's sucking off the tits of Mother America. Okay, you take this money and you really don't do nothing productive with it. And with this money, you buy armaments, okay, to defend yourself, but you buy way more than you really need to defend yourself. So rather than being on the defense, you're on the offense. And the reason why I'm saying you're on the offense is because, the Muslims are conducting terror raids against Israel. Okay, suicide bombers, Hezbollah sending over those bullshit missiles and everything else. And don't take it the wrong way, Israel has every right to defend itself, and you really do. However, with the amount of aid that we've been giving you, and the amount of armaments that you've been buying with it, and the type of armaments that you've been buying with it, you became more of you're more on the offense than on the defense. You're threatening war with Iran, and you're not much far different than the Nazis. And the reason why I'm saying this is because you took land that didn't belong to you during 1967, during the 6 Day War, and you've kicked out all the Palestinians and you put them in a concentration camp. And just 20 years before you built these concentration camps, you were in concentration camps. The Jews were in concentration camps, being oppressed by the Nazis. So who the fuck are you to create? You're doing the same fucking thing. What the fuck is the matter with you? And what the fuck is the matter with the American people to actually support Israel doing this? You guys are just unfucking believable. We give you $1.75 trillion, and you've used it to blow up apartment buildings with children in it because there's one fucking terrorist inside. One fucking terrorist. You drop a 500-pound bomb supplied by the United States with a plane supplied by the United States on a fucking apartment building and kill women and children because there's one terrorist inside. What the fuck are you thinking? Fox News just uncovered that since 9/11, number one, you guys knew about the attacks and didn't warn us. Number two, you're listening to every single one of our phone. We have every single one of Americans' phone conversation records. So every time any one of these people on YouTube makes a phone call, it goes to Israel. Israel has the record of it. And Israel has the capability of intercepting that phone call. Well, you know what? Fuck you. I don't want you intercepting my phone calls. I just don't. I don't want my government intercepting my phone calls for that reason. And I don't want Israel intercepting my phone calls under any circumstances at all. Okay? So, and over 200 Israeli spies have been collected since 9/11 in the United States for conducting espionage. You're trying to steal our secrets, our military weapon secrets, our governmental secrets. So not only are you tapping our phone calls, and you're on welfare in the United States. Let me tell you something about welfare. Vast majority of the American people, they don't like welfare recipients. When you hear the word welfare, you think of a lowlife. You think of somebody that, if I was to walk down the street, walk past Penn Station, I see some alcoholic sleeping on a cardboard box. Then once a month he goes to his P.O. box and picks up a welfare check. You know, I don't like those type of people. I automatically assume that they're low lives and they're lazy. Yeah, it's wrong. You know, a lot of those people they got mental problems, they got mental issues, they can't find work, and they had a downward spiral and that just ruined their lives. But vast majority of American people, they stay away from people on welfare. We know that, you know, there's people that need welfare. We do, but we also understand that a lot of people are milking the system. And Israel, that's what you're doing. You're milking the system. You're milking the American system. You're taking all this money that we've given you, and you created a super huge force. You have nukes, okay, and you're telling Iran that they can't have nuclear missiles, but yet you got nuclear fucking missiles. How could you tell Iran that they can have nuclear missiles if you have nuclear missiles? If you expect Iran to disarm its nuclear missiles, you have to disarm your nuclear missiles too, because Iran. I'm not defending Iran. Believe me, I would love to see all them die bleeding on their ass too. But they have every right to defend themselves, just like you have every right to defend yourself. And if you have nukes, it's perfectly understandable for Iran to have nukes too. Because if you want to put it, if you want to put it into actual terms, Iran is a state sponsor of terror. But you know what? They've done a lot less for terror than you have. You know, they support Hamas. You're actually conducting terror raids. So, you know, you have nukes. The whole world knows you have nukes, and then you go into to Iraq and you bomb Saddam's nuclear producing factories. Okay, and now you're threatening to do the same to Iran, and that is going to draw the United States into a war. You know, half the problems Israel have is Israel created. And the reason why Israel is creating these problems is because they have American support. American people support. The American people have to understand that for peace to be generated in the Middle East, one way we have to do this is to lessen our support for Israel. Because once you lessen support for Israel, and Israel says, oh shit, I'm going to have to get off my fucking ass and work for a living, get off this welfare that we're on, stop thinking that I'm deserving of the money from the American taxpayer. You're going to do your own fucking thing. You're going to make sure that you're going to create peace. Because without all these bombs and without all these missiles and without all this money that the United States has given you, plus with the recent revelations about espionage and spying and phone tapping things, you are no friend of the United States. You're about as much a friend of the United States as Russia is. Okay? And we don't like Russia. So, you know, it's imperative for my message to the American people is, excuse me, you have to start understanding that Israel is no friend of the United States. And if you really want to end peace, you want to end war, you want the Muslim world to democratize, or at least be fair, we have to end support for Israel. Because with supporting Israel, they're going to keep dragging on and dragging on the peace process. You follow me? We have to pressure the Israelis, and the way to pressure the Israelis is to cut the fucking aid. Stop giving them 500-pound bombs to bomb apartment buildings in Palestine. We got to tell them to open up the fucking concentration camp that they built. Yeah, they built a concentration camp 20 years after they were locked in concentration camps. They built one also to lock up the Palestinians So of course the Palestinians are terrorists. You'd be a fucking terrorist too. If your family is taken away from its home and put in a concentration camp, and you had children, and your children lived there for 40 years, the American public has got to understand that Israel is no friend of the United States. They're just milking our system. And the longer we let this happen, the longer there's going to be no peace. And the closer we are to a major catastrophe in the Middle East. Okay? I know I'm very passionate about what I'm saying. But, you know, I'm not saying that everybody should just automatically change their views. I just want people to listen. I want the American people to understand what Israel is doing to this country, and how Israel is making the good Jews of this world look very bad. Okay? I apologize for the rant. Please accept my apologies, and just think about what I say. Thank you.